This is Driving Solutions, exclusively on CPTnews.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick with CBT News. On today's show, we are joined by Gary Graves, who's the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of TotalCX, a leading AI-driven customer experience management platform. Today, we'll be discussing how dealers can measure customer effort, what it means to have a customer experience, mindset, I should say, and what's in store for TotalCX at the upcoming 2024 NADA show in Vegas, just a few weeks away. So Gary, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
It's a pleasure to be here. I follow your work and very happy to take part in it.
Great. Well, we're so glad that you're here. So thanks for taking some time out of your schedule. Talk to us about what a customer effort is when it comes to the car buying process.
Sure. Customer effort is the amount of energy, time, and effort the customer has to exert in order to achieve a commercial objective with a car dealership, whether it's buying a vehicle, researching a vehicle, servicing a vehicle, and so on.
Okay, so it's that friction we hear about, right? That can sometimes take place.
Exactly. So you find a car, you like it, you're all excited about it, and it takes you 3 calls, 6 transfers, and 2 callbacks to find out that it's not available. Like, you exerted all this effort and came up empty-handed. It puts a bad taste in your mouth in terms of how you relate to that dealership and that buying experience.
Boy, there is no question about it, for sure. There's whenever they run the studies, this is at the top of everybody's list as to why they don't like doing business with dealers. We do it to ourselves in this industry all too often. But tell us more about customer effort scores and how they impact the dealership.
Sure. So how many times have you called a dealership in your driving career? And the first thing you hear is, thank you for calling, please hold.
Almost every time.
Right. So that's where the effort starts.
Yeah.
Because however, excited you are, whatever it is you're calling about, you're not important enough to even wait for the acknowledgement that you will in fact hold. They don't wait. They just...
That's exactly right. It's a huge assumption, right?
So it starts there, and it could start before there if you hit an IVR. So you know what you're calling about. Then you get to an IVR and it says, press 1 for this, press 2 for that. And almost everybody presses the number that'll get them to a human first, no matter what they want.
That's right.
Then you get there and they ask you, well, what are you calling for? And then they transfer you to a department and they ask you, what are you calling for?
Yep.
So now you have all this effort and redundancy that you're exerting. That's why I guess it caused a lot of uproar in the marketplace when Amazon and Honda deal. And when I saw that thing come through, I'm like, well, if it's easier and dealers don't make the effort to reduce the friction in the buying process, then yeah, they may have something to worry about, because there comes a point where if they're not maintaining a relationship, and if the relationship no longer becomes a necessity, then digital retailing all the way through the buying process makes a lot of sense.
That's right. That's right. And I agree with you. I think that if they can offer that, as we all know, Amazon does offer that. They make it about as easy as humanly possible to purchase their items. So if the consumers out there are making that connection to say, wait a minute, it could be really easy to purchase a vehicle, in this case a Hyundai, from Amazon, then I'm going to be prone to go in that direction, aren't I?
Yeah, but that's where the expertise and product knowledge of a dealership comes into play if it's activated, because that consumer may not know what they want to buy. They just know what they've been marketed. And they know what their needs are. They have 5 kids. Junior's going to play on the soccer team next year, and he's going to have friends, so they need seating for 7. So they know their requirements, but then they get marketed to, and they don't know, for instance, if EV would fit into they're an apartment. So like EV may not work for them because they may not have access to charging.
That's right.
And these are the types of product knowledge and expertise that a dealership's supposed to bring to the table in relationships. And that's something that like Amazon and some of the other online retailers will struggle with.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of the negative impacts that can happen when customers have to put in a lot of effort with the dealer?
The worst thing is they just disappear.
Yeah.
And it was like the silent crime. It's like, they just disappeared and said, I'll never go there again. There's a certain dealership in my community here that I would never shop at because I've had just such a poor service experience.
Yeah.
Even getting a service appointment, I would never buy there. And dealers still do the thing where, if you buy there and you service your vehicle there, they give you more favorable treatment. If you buy your vehicle somewhere else and then you come there, you get your stepchild, treatment typically.
Yeah, that's right.
But the relationship may start in sales, but it's maintained at the service level.
That's right.
And how that customer's treated, throughout their ownership, of that vehicle. So the impact of additional customer effort means they take their business elsewhere. They also speak poorly, typically, of that dealer. Oh, you don't want to go there.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy that brand vehicle, you need to go across town because you'll get a much better service and attention over there. So
That's right.
it impacts, them financially in both instances. But the real challenge is, how do you measure that? How do you measure the sale you never got?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, there's no question about it. Dealers in many cases aren't aware of the deals that they never even had an opportunity on that are happening right in their own backyard that they actually had the first shot at, but it didn't go well. And that customer, said, I'm taking my business elsewhere. This isn't working for me, right?
Yeah, that's how they speak.
You're right. How do you even measure that? That's crazy. Hey, switching gears for a second, how do you define CX? And then the follow-up's going to be, what's a CX mindset?
Yeah, absolutely. So CX, consumer experience or customer experience, is the sum of all interactions, with a brand. And it's a qualitative term. So it's not just how many times did I touch them, how many were inbound communications versus outbounds, but what's the quality of that experience? Where did the customer achieve their goals in those exchanges? And how many exchanges did it take to solve an issue? Was it a first call resolution? How many callbacks? So like all of the metrics that surround, the customer's relationship with a dealership.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this. How does a good phone system or phone call monitoring system, I should say, address these topics that we're talking about today?
So that's a good question, because at the heart of it, it's not the system that addresses the issues. It's almost always either a process or a personnel issue. So it's people that ultimately need to address these issues. Management, as well as in some cases the IT department in terms of how a phone process, in terms of like IVR transfers. Like the worst thing in a dealership for me as a consumer is park and page, where you call in and then somebody for sales, they put you on hold and then yell across the loudspeaker, sales call on line 3.
That's right.
And for the in dealership buying experience, that's just like you feel like you're at an auction. It's just not a white glove type environment.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And nobody benefits from that. The person on the phone or the people that are waiting in the dealership, right? That they hear that coming over and they're like, well, that's going to be me one day when I'm calling into the dealership, right?
Right. So what the platform needs to give people in power the insight and tools to facilitate a change, and that change should be towards a CX mindset. The traditional sales funnel where we're tracking all these different conversions at key points, what has been determined key points historically, it's a dated model. It's over a century old at this point. And the CX mindset kind of inverts that, kind of sits it on its head.
Okay.
Because traditional CRMs and the way most platforms operate today, it's the business's perspective of a customer. A CX mindset is facilitated by the customer's perspective of the business. So you're looking at the other way. And by doing so, and you still have the KPIs to monitor, and they end up having the same result, meaning they drive higher productivity, higher margin, and ultimately a higher top line in revenue, because happy customers stay. And that's the whole objective with a CS mindset, is driving a customer towards loyalty.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And that's what every dealer wants right now. I mean, we have got so many customers, I should say, that end up going elsewhere for their service after they've purchased the car from that particular dealer. That's something that we've been struggling with in this industry for a very long period of time, right?
Yeah.
No
And
question about it.
fixed ops is such a large part of the revenue of a dealership, but yet it doesn't receive anywhere near as much attention as the sales side. Even like if you look at marketing spend,
I know.
Where's the bulk of marketing spend
That's
go?
right.
It's not advertised for that $29.99
Nope.
oil change.
It's all on the variable side. That's right. And it's probably for a multitude of different reasons. Many of the GMs and the dealers have come out of the variable side versus the fixed op side. It's kind of their sweet spot, so to speak, and it seems to get all of the attention of the dealer principal, the variable ops versus service. And that's really too bad, because service makes up such a big part of it. And to your point, the showroom might sell the first car to that customer and the family, but the service department is going to sell every car thereafter, or maybe not sell every car thereafter, depending on how that experience goes, right?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, the variable side is sexy.
Yeah,
Service
that's right.
gets so much. All the statistics and charts you see in automotive
That's
news,
right.
it's units sold.
Yeah.
They want to be at the top of that chart.
That's right. That's right. But a smart dealer knows that, man, that service, you got a service department that's running at a high efficiency rate, and you can really make a ton of money, and many dealers do. But that's what it's all about, especially as we see, margins starting to compress back down again now with the inventory levels coming back up. Inventory high, gross profits low. I mean, we've known that now for 100 years in the auto industry. But fixed ops is a different situation. You don't have that same issue, right?
Oh yeah, it's recession proof. People need to get to work. Kids need to go to school.
That's right.
That's
right.
always going to be the staple, the bread and butter.
Yeah, for sure. Talk to me about NADA coming up. It's right around the corner. Obviously, it's in the first week of February. But what can these dealers expect to see when they come by your booth?
Well, we're really excited. This is probably going to be one of the most, I guess, explosive shows for us, because we've been pretty hush-hush, but we're going to be unveiling some really cool technology that's going to move the bar, yet again. The technological advances are awesome. I'm a geek at heart. It's hard not to geek out at times. But the newest breakthroughs in large language models, with the proverbial Chat GPT, and Genesis is coming out from Google, like the whole landscape is going to change, and it's already changing. We feel we could see our competitors in our rearview mirror from before. Like, we could stop and get a snack and not even worry about them, gaining ground. But because of the way the technology is moving now, we can see them there, and we respond well to that pressure.
Yeah.
And we're going to respond pretty loudly. This NADA.
That's great. That's great. Well, and I might add that the booth is 4321 in the West Hall. I'm showing all the information on the screen here. We're also showing information on how to check out their website. If you want to maybe get with Gary and his team prior to going out, make sure that they're on your short list. Set up an appointment. Take 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, find out what they're all about. These are the kinds of solutions that we want to be bringing you from CBT News. Dealers have asked for it. Here it is. This is your opportunity to take your showroom to the next level. So Gary Graves, CEO and co-founder of TotalCX, a company that's making big waves, and a company you're going to hear a lot more about in 2024. So Gary, thank you so much for spending some time with us here at CBT News.
Oh, thank you so much. My pleasure.
Great, thanks.
Thanks for watching Driving Solutions, exclusively on CPTnews.com.